var en händelse som man pratade om kunde hända på någon gång på miljoner år. Det batterisäkrade nätet. De sakkunniga professorerna på KTH som har analyserat det här, de säger att de förstår fortfarande inte varför 2 startade och 2 inte startade. Egentligen borde alla ha slagits ut. Och har man inte dem tillgängliga, då finns det liksom inget alternativ. Då blir det ju en härdsmälta. Alltså den startar ju efter 30 minuter och är väl liksom fulländad efter 1,5 timme. Så a lot of people ask me how near were we, and I always say you can't measure that. I always say it was too close. I can't say how close, but we should never be as close as we were, because that's out of all or other. That's too dangerous. This technology is too dangerous to be that close. We should be the what do you call it, the avstånd, distance. The margins should be very, very big.
So why didn't it happen then? What stopped it?
Luck. I just say luck.
When tsunami reached Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, the footage was taken and this was released for the first time. And this was taken from the air, and the Ministry of Land and Transportation's Tohoku Regional Bureau helicopter took this image at 5 p.m. on the 11th. And already 1 hour had passed since the tsunami hit, and you can see the buildings and the facilities were knocked out by the tsunami, and the 14-meter high tsunami hit the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant and Daini nuclear plant, and this is the double the imagined level.
BBC News. Well, the earthquake that hit Japan was 8,000 times more powerful than the one that devastated Christchurch in New Zealand last month. It unleashed a huge tsunami which crashed into Japan's eastern coastline. Tsunami alerts were earlier issued across almost the entire Pacific basin in Russia, Mexico, Hawaii and Peru, and of course the US west coast. No damage has been reported in other countries.
This is Onagawa Hospital, and the waves went up to the second floor of this hospital. So even if you came all the way up here, you could still be washed away by this tsunami.
Tohoku Electric says a fire started in its Onagawa nuclear power station in Miyagi Prefecture, but was soon extinguished. It says there are no radioactive leaks.
Euronews spoke to nuclear safety expert Jean-Mathieu Rombach.
Un incendie sur ce qu'on appelle la salle des machines. Donc c'est là où est produit.
At the Onagawa power plant, there was a fire in the engine room where electricity is produced.
I offer my deepest sympathy to the people who have suffered the disaster. Regarding our nuclear power facilities, some of the nuclear power plants have stopped automatically, but so far, no radioactive material or radiation has been confirmed to have been leaked to the outside. An emergency disaster response headquarters has been set up with myself as the head.
Now, Japanese officials insist that there is no danger for people in relation to the crises affecting its nuclear plants. Well, obviously they do want to avoid panic, but just how bad really is the current situation there, do you think?
Very bad. It's very bad. We have now reports of 6 reactors that are under stress. We've had at least a partial meltdown. At least one reactor, we've already had to attempt to flood a reactor with seawater. The problem is that when nuclear reactors go down, they still require electric power to operate pumps to keep the reactors and the spent fuel cool, and this power has been lacking. And we could conceivably, God forbid, have 6 meltdowns here. This is not a situation to be taken lightly. I do not believe the Japanese government when they say that no one is at risk. They're saying no one's at risk, but simultaneously they're evacuating people. I want to applaud them for evacuating the people, but this is a situation where the risk is very, very substantial.
Do you think that this will help? Is the government doing enough?
It's impossible to know. In a situation like that, it's hard to do enough. We have an ongoing crisis here. These reactors are not yet under control. There's no guarantee that they'll get them under control. If you have 6 reactors that are having serious problems, simultaneous with the catastrophe that's occurred elsewhere, non-radioactive because of the tsunami and the earthquake, this country's resources are severely stressed. It would be very difficult, even under the best of circumstances, for any government in the world to deal with 6 simultaneous reactor crises. And I can't imagine that they have sufficient personnel or resources to properly deal with this. And it is a very, very dangerous situation. Dangerous is a great understatement. Any one of these reactors, as I mentioned, is capable on its own of major radiation releases. There is an additional factor. These are old reactors. And as a result, they have a lot of spent fuel. And in this particular design, they're stored at the top of the reactor, if you can believe that. And so they're very, very vulnerable, not only with the ongoing operation of the reactor core, but also with what may happen to the highly radioactive spent fuel.
Tokyo Electric Power Company has reported to the government that its Fukushima No. 1 and No. 2 nuclear power plants are facing an emergency situation. It says in the Fukushima No. 1 plant, the emergency diesel generators used to cool down the nuclear reactors are all inoperable. And in the Fukushima No. 2 plant, an emergency cooling system has been activated. The Nuclear and Industrial Safety Agency says no radiation leakage has been reported so far.
A heightened state of alert has been declared at this nuclear power plant, and residents living around it told to leave their homes. The authorities say it's a precaution while the cooling system is restored.
The Chief Cabinet Secretary, Edano, says that there should be electric power in order to cool the nuclear power plants, and there is a need for power generation there. And because the nuclear power plants may have a big impact, we issued an emergency state announcement, and we took measures under the law to take measures, maximum measures, to secure safety of the power plant. But at this point in time, there's no radioactive leakage at this point. And the government is taking all measures to prevent such situation. However, at the same time, we are prepared for the worst scenario, and so that is why we have issued an emergency state for the nuclear power plant.
And as I have just said, the Meteorological Agency has lifted the warning for tsunami at 12:55 a.m. in Japan time. Right, Japan's nuclear agency says 2 out of 3 power transmission cables cannot be used right at this moment at the Onagawa nuclear power plant's 3 reactors that are located in Miyagi Prefecture. The Tohoku Electric Power Company suspended operations at the reactors immediately after the March 11th quake. As of 12:55 a.m. Japan time, the agency says there is no change in radiation levels around the plant. There is no change in radiation levels around the plant. Meanwhile, the Tokyo Electric Power Company has said that cooling water operation at the Fukushima Daiichi No. 1, 2, and 3 reactors are continuing steadily. The utility also said there are no problems with the injection of nitrogen into the No. 1 reactor. The company says there were 402 workers at the plant at the time of the tremor, but no injuries have been reported so far. TEPCO said there are no problems reported at the Fukushima Dai-2 plant either. The agency says that a nuclear reprocessing facility in Rokukasho village in Aomori Prefecture, power has been cut, resulting in no electricity, which means they cannot use electricity right